Live on Marfoogle TV in 3, 2. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. First of all, going over Walmart, and again, a lot of folks shop at Walmart, and again, over the last couple years, it's kind of like a lot of people were required to shop at Walmart just because of how crazy expensive everything was. Not too many people that I have met are proud that they shop at Walmart, but again, I have shopped at Walmart, and I know that a lot of my clothes have come from Walmart. Because of inflation and everything else. So again, with this news coming out, not too many people are going to be happy. The news is price hikes are coming. Now, again, this is something that, is kind of unavoidable. A lot of folks don't really understand what goes on with all of this, with the tariffs. A lot of people in the beginning didn't even know what the hell a tariff was. Again, with Walmart, they're actually going to be raising their prices, even though they actually had quite a year. Actually, they had something over $100 billion in revenue. So very, very crazy here. But again, what they're doing is they're going to be raising and price hiking everything, and that's going to hit the shelves, I believe, later this month. So already we're going to be paying a whole lot more. Of course, now everybody's excited because all of the tariffs have paused, or there's deals being made around the tariffs. It goes from 145% to 30%. Well, that 30% means that there is now a price hike. Before it was like an embargo. Now it's a price hike. It's everywhere is going to end up raising their prices. What pisses me off about places like Walmart and all of these places, they will raise their prices, and even if we don't think that it's going to go back down to zero, even if the tariffs went back down to zero, they're not going to drop their prices back again. There are low prices every day. It really depends on what profit they make, right? So again, I don't think they will ever lower the prices. I don't think any of these big companies will. I think that this is something where they're going to be able to raise the prices, and then when all of this, if it does get settled out, they would never put it back. We saw that with CV. We saw all of these prices raised, and a lot of them, experts found that they just raised it because they felt like they could get it. It was really, really horrid. So again, lots of crazy stuff going on. Now, we're also going to be talking about, we're going to talk about the electricity situation here in a second, but I do want to remind you guys, if you do have a lot of power outages and lights out kind of situations, I would highly recommend going over and checking out Bug Out. We've been talking about all this week. There's been several breaking stories about essentially the solar power inverters, the solar power, the huge equipment that the world has been using. They're now finding cellular radios inside those. Of course, the U.S. has found those. And this is right after Spain had all of their renewable energy cause a massive blackout. And it just so happens that China essentially made almost all of it for them, right? And then within a couple days of them saying that they're going to probe and see what the hell happened, the U.S. comes out and says, oh, we probed the renewable, solar infrastructure that we have, and we found cellular radios that essentially goes around the firewall and is physically put in there to communicate with China. So again, a backdoor maybe to be able to turn it off. And again, that was in the inverter, the part that connects the actual solar to the actual regular grid. So if that went down, you would actually have a cascading effect, and it would affect the grid. So something like that is messed up. And why you have to pay attention to this is because a lot of people are buying Amazon and cheaper generators, but understand that almost all of those cheaper generators are not only made, all of the equipment and everything made in China, even the American companies, a lot of them, they say they're actually a shell company owned by China. And who knows if they have a backdoor in them. Again, do you want to have lights go out and then end up having your generator just turn off and say, CCP says goodnight? I don't, so that's why I go with bug out or energy. Again, this is the marfooglenews.com/bug out, code MARF. Make sure to use that code because you'll end up not only saving money, but you'll also help our channel. This is one of the best solar generators on the market, and it comes EMP shield protected. It is all front loaded in the US. It is all final manufacturing here, and they make sure that everything is loaded up by them. So again, you will not have to deal with a backdoor from China. Go to marfooglenews.com/bug out and make sure to use the code MARF. It is a high capacity, high peak power generator. And again, it has a lot of awesome features. Go check it out on the website. All right. And then let's bring my co-internet brother, Dex James. What is going on and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Fugel fam. I'm doing just fine.
Now, remember, all of the links, every single article, tweet, video, picture, documents are going to be available over on marfooglenews.com. You can find everything there on every single show, and you can also find our other channels like Marfoogle TV. You just go up to the top, and you'll find all of the thumbnails. You'll be able to click and go straight to them. All right, so first of all, let's talk about the summer power outages and what they're saying this year. Much like last year, they're predicting massive outages.
Okay, so yeah, they're suggesting that the usage rates are sky high, and large swaths of the United States are actually going to have a heightened risk of blackouts this summer. So this is the warning. This is the get ready because they tell us it's going to happen, and we've seen it year over year, especially in Texas and other areas where the power consumption just goes through the roof because of high heat and other things. Well, the demand is going to outweigh the actual supply in this scenario, and there will be potentially outages across large sections. So the shortfall, according to a new report from the NERC, a nonprofit organization dedicated to reducing risks in the power network, is driven largely in part by a steep increase in projected electricity demand. Now, I'll remind you, there's all sorts of things that have been deployed across our grids, like these massive data centers that are going in everywhere, including things like Colossus in Memphis, which is 200,000 of these high-powered GPU clusters that are powering AI. And it's not just there, it's everywhere. I imagine just about everywhere you can ask someone and they've heard of a data center going in their area. We've got a handful of them even here where I live. So these are all massively large power consuming installations. And not only that, the demand from everyone else is going through the roof too. So heat goes up, demand goes up, and we're consuming too much power, and our grids are going to start failing, and we are going to have blackouts, they're saying.
And they're saying that a lot of this too, since all of this is also, we're in a country that has been trying to switch over to electric and renewable and all of these renewable green sources. Well, every country that has so far, when they are transitioning, you actually have this kind of super period of vulnerability. Now, I'm sure, since all of the conflicts that are going on right now, that there's a lot of adversaries that are looking at the prime and opportune time to essentially start their wars. China and, of course, Taiwan and North Korea and South Korea. And then, of course, Iran and Israel. There's at least three adversaries that have not only, we know that they're in our country, that they've infiltrated, that they have people here, they have sleeper cells, they have all of these things that they have just straight up said to the public, said to all of their people that, eventually we will take them out. We'll take the U.S. out. China, in the way they have literally announced to their people that get ready for war with the U.S. I mean, this is something that I think is an imminent thing. And as far as that goes, it's all going to be connected. All of these countries are going to be connected. There's a lot of folks that don't realize with this power issue right here, look at Spain, look at all of these things that have happened. And then look, it's a pattern. Once you see the pattern, you'll understand that these renewable sources, it seems like there's something wrong here. And I'm sure we will find out in the end about all of this. Dex, let's go over the AP story here. And again, I had to hard load that.
Yeah, grab it from up next. I noticed it was broken. So
no, I got it. Yeah. I got it. Here you go.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so look, get this. So in addition to Trump saying they quote unquote sort of have an agreement for a nuclear deal with Iran, He's also renamed nuclear enrichment to nuclear dust. It's kind of funny the way he says it, but no, he was in an exchange with reporters in Doha, Qatar, and he was describing the talks that are going on between Steve Witkoff and the Iranian foreign minister, and he said they were very serious negotiations. And he was carried on. He said Iran has sort of agreed to the terms. He called it. This is a quote. Iran has sort of agreed to the terms. They're not going to make it. I call it, in a friendly way, nuclear dust. Trump said. He went on to say they're not going to be making any nuclear dust in Iran. So he did also go on to say that, look, the ability for the potential for us to strike their nuclear facilities is still on the table should these talks fall apart. But, at the moment, it does seem like, with the concessions that have been happening, all of the, the agreement with Yemen and others, it seems like he's been doing everything he possibly can to give them every opportunity to come to a deal. And I'm, of course, we'd like to see a deal. We don't want to necessarily go to war with Iran, but sounds like we still have our bombers there and we're still ready to roll.
I think they're stalling, just like the first time when they had a Saturday meeting. They basically shook hands. They chit chatted, and by the end of it, nothing was done. And then they were like, "Oh, well, next week we'll meet here." And then they've kept this going. I think they're stalling for time, and I think that's why you have all of the other peace talks too. You have the pause on the tariff conflict, but there's no end to it. There's not a final end to it. You have, of course, and then other events are happening at the same time. I think this is all coordinated with North Korea lining up and telling their people to prepare for war. Like right after Donald and Xi talk and they agree to pause the tariff conflict, within one day, what's his name? Kim Jong-un ended up telling his military, prepare for war. It's almost like he straight up got a call from Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping, yeah, we just did a piece on it. We're going to pause. So, okay, you're activated. And then, boom, he tells his people to prepare for war. I mean, the timing of these things cannot be ignored. It's crazy. We're going to talk about the rest of this. In fact, we have a very, very crazy show on next. Again, that show is going to be over on Marfoogle TV, our sister channel. So if you haven't been over there, make sure to go over to marfooglenews.com. You will actually quickly find all of our shows, and it's all archived by, of course, thumbnail. So if you want to find today's sources, all you have to do is look for outages incoming. Are you ready? Again, you'll find that. I hope that a lot of the people in the Midwest, a lot of the people that have been in areas, I know people that were out. I was out for 7 days. You guys probably remember that, but it really sucked. You need to have food and water. You need to have things just in case. You need to understand that if one of these events gets taken advantage of and they possibly do something they have been planning, we know from Klaus Schwab, from the F, saying that essentially they believed in that there was more than likely going to be a massive cyber attack that made 2001 look like nothing. That would be worse than CV, worse than 2019 even. And that was what Creepy Klaus said. So again, I don't think that goes away. I think they say that for a reason. Even if you believe that he's just saying it, he's saying it probably because, he's on the committee that decides it, right? Who knows? But again, I would highly recommend getting prepared on events where you have them telling you that the power is going to go out. It's going to go out. And especially in areas where you have overusage and areas that are trying to go green and don't have as much regular grid, they have it switched over to these new resources. And again, those new resources fail. So make sure to have your stuff ready. Again, be safe, be prepared, and Marf out. If you are trying to join us on the next show, all you have to do is sit in the chat. You'll be ported over. Otherwise, if you're watching the replay, all you have to do is click here. We'll see you in just a moment. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.